Okay, hello, this is Rank Carcass. We're in the middle of this game here. I've got the turn tracker. We just finished January 1937, so we're starting July 1937, so we're two turns in. Um, Turkey's making a bunch of money here, and so far we've got one chip on each side for the Allies and the Axis. They've got 14 bucks so far, so whoever gets that's going to make a few bucks. Not a lot has been happening. We've been all kind of conserving our oil. China's trying to spend its oil by moving this one ship around so that Japan can't get all its bits of oil. We did decide to go with medium factories, so these red factories here are the medium factories. There's a few that have been built here. Japan's put one in there and whatnot. And on the map here, we also went with the house roll we played at General Hand Grenade's place, where everybody rolled for a tech, and this is what we got. Advanced mechs for Italy and Britain, heavy bombers for Germany, and advanced anti-submarine warfare for America. The radar for the French, that'll be useful. Improved factories for Japan, that will be very useful. And Russia fluked out and it got improved shipyards, so it's going to build a big navy or something. And we decided to also go with the, you're allowed to do one tech roll that you pay for. So we've got a few things that are on the board there, but nobody's completed anything, so I'm not going to really go over that too much. The only thing that's happened income-wise is Germany's gone up $3 from income for annexations, and the British have also gone up $2 from that as well. And yeah, so far there's been a little bit of moving around. Albania's been taken. Abyssinia has been taken by the Italians. There's been a little bit of a fight down here. Nothing crazy. We're still pretty much where we started. We just lost a bunch of units. Sent a few units in. And France is struggling to move everything it has to not make more oil so that it can use it up, hopefully, before the Germans come in and take all their oil reserves there in Bordeaux. So besides that, the other thing I forgot to mention last night is we have the commanders in here. So this commander's on a sub, if you're wondering. So we'll see how that goes, because we're trying to save that guy, but if that turns into a Vichy sub, then who knows what happens. I might have a Vichy commander. We'll see. And yeah, that's it. So been a little bit of moving around, a little bit of land lease, but nothing crazy, and I'll see you next year. Okay, Ryan Carcass here again. It's turn 2, or video 2 of day 1. We are currently on July 1938, or about to start that. Some tech's been successful. The Germans have successfully managed to get their heavy armor. Otherwise, nobody's finished anything, so we'll go over that when it gets finished. Turkey is another point of 4 of us threw in $8, and only one of us got a chip. So Italy's got 2 chips, the Allies got 1, and Russia has been wasting its money and getting nothing. Otherwise, not much has happened. There's been a bit of moving and building. Nobody's done anything in China attack-wise. There's been a bit of a build-up, but nothing crazy. China's still moving that torpedo boat destroyer here around so that it can use up an oil a turn. The British have moved a few things here and there, but not too much this turn here. France has moved its commander and some of its aircraft and pieces that it wants to have down here just in case, and I need to start loading up France up there now if I ever have a chance. And I keep using up the 3 oil I make every turn so that I don't give Germany 6 or 9 or 12 or anything crazy like that. Other than that, the annexations are done. Germany hasn't declared war on anybody. Nobody's at war with anybody yet, so we'll see what happens. And yeah, it's been a brief game here, so we'll see you in a turn or two and give you an update. Okay, it's Rank Carcass again. This is at the end of the 6th turn of Global War 1936 setup with General Hand Grenade and myself, Rank Carcass. We've been playing a bit of a game here. As you can see, Turkey is no longer Turkey. We don't have that money there anymore. We've managed to finally successfully get a roll where it worked out. So we had $56 in the bank for Turkey to take, and The Allies had 3 chips out of the 4 they needed when the Italians finally got their 4th one there. And Russia had a whole 1. So there's a couple turns where France didn't do a roll, but in 6 turns we had 56 bucks there, and that was just absolutely insane. So Turkey is now over here, and we're using just this upside down Japanese roundel here. So Turkey's got $28. We decided to half it because 56 bucks would have been too much. It's would have been double the German income. And they only have a single factory. It would have been, yeah, it would have broke the game. Well, we suspect it might have broken the game. So what we did is we took half the money and we decided to put it in the bank. And we're thinking that when we play this again, we may have to take that money and say put half of, when you pay $2 for your roll for Turkey, $1 goes into Turkey's bank and $1 goes into the main bank. Because it was getting a little bit ridiculous. 56 bucks. Like, yeah. Russia's only making 8. The Americans are making 9. It's nuts. It's insane. All right, so that's that part. And the other thing of note that's interesting is the CCP ceased to exist. They are annihilated. Now, we did something. I'm not we couldn't find anything in the rules that said it didn't happen. And since it was described as a Russian commander, the commander from the CCP managed to successfully do his escape roll, and he came out to here in Novorossiysk here. So there's a commander here. The Russians have a commander. A fancy day. Anyway, you'll be able to see here. There's quite a few mountain troops. That's what the brown here that the Japanese have. They've been very busy. Very, very busy. They've taken a few places. China's down to $8. We shouldn't have 2 up there. China's at $8. There we go. So Turkey's at 3. Australia's at 4 thanks to the Chinese attack by the Japan. CCP is gone. The French and the FEC are at 6. Italy's at 7. The KMT China and the Russians are tied at 8. The Americans are up to, the US is up to 9. British are up to 14 thanks to the German annexations. And with the addition of those Chinese land zones, Japan is at 24, tied with Germany. So that's the income there. Our turn tracker next turn is July 1939. The official start of tech. And besides that, America hasn't done much. They haven't had a lot of money. They built a couple of elite Marines. That's about it. We're using the pinks here for those. So if you see pink chips lying around here, we didn't have enough colors of chips for all these extra expansions and whatnot. So with the oil using black, it kind of interrupted what we normally do on my table. So the pinks are doing double duty as country specials, and we're using them for tins underneath the oil. That way, as you can see, there's 20 oil in Britain there. So that's it. Oil has not been a major issue. In fact, we haven't been moving our stuff a lot in case we need the stockpile in the future, but I have a feeling it's not going to be that big of a deal. It may be more strategic to take out oil so that your enemy can't get it in the future, but we're not there yet, so we'll see how that works out. And with Turkey being Italian controlled, I have a feeling that these oil wells in Iraq and southern Iran are probably going to get annihilated by them, and it's going to put a bit of a threat here on southern Russia. So we'll see what we do with that. Japanese commander was used here a couple times, and it's come in handy. And the elite fighter squadrons we were using, this is supposed to be an extra Japanese kamikaze, but it's kind of a waste, and they didn't get any benefit out of this set. So we just gave them an extra fighter. I can't remember if we said that one was +1 attack and defense or not, but that's all that's going on there. Yeah. So built a medium factory. There's a stack of infantry and a fighter there. Built a sub and upgraded this to a medium factory. Got a medium factory down here. Been building some infantry. Been using the transports here to bring up the infantry to Aden and a few into there. I should probably put a chip down. That's a little bit ridiculous. Let's take these 3 out, and there we go. We got 4 infantry and a militia. Much less complicated and confusing. France has been moving its navy around. The Germans have been moving their subs all over the place, but haven't declared war on anybody. So France has been moving its navy around just to use up oil. It's also been flying aircraft around just to use up oil and driving guys around to use oil, or else moving this capital ship to use another oil. Yeah. So France has managed to successfully limit its oil stockpile to 3, which is what it gets at the end of every turn. That way they don't give the Axis any extra oil should they take over France. Not that it really matters, because there's, right now the Axis has got... Germany's got 25 oil stockpiled in Berlin, and then they have access to all this other oil here should they start taking it over. You can see those little oil barrel signs are everywhere. Russia's not going to really have an issue with oil either, so it should be an okay day for that. Now we have had some techs happen. Russia's managed to successfully get their advanced artillery. And this next turn, all these techs are going to be activated. And at the same time, everybody can roll as many of these techs as they feel they want to purchase. And Germany's going to get its free tech roll and all that fun stuff. So Russia's got advanced artillery, advanced mech for Italy and Britain, heavy armor for Germany, heavy bombers for Germany. Long-range aircraft is halfway done by Japan. The US has advanced anti-submarines. The French have radar. I don't know why they would need to scramble a lot of planes when they probably can't afford any, but that's the one they got in the freebie there. They're also working on wartime economy, and they're tied with Italy. They're halfway. Britain has been rolling for improved shipyards for the last 6 turns and has been successful once. And the Americans and the Russians both have improved shipyards, and of course, can't forget that the Japanese have improved factories. So all their factories are going to produce half of what they already did. So Japan, instead of having a factory that builds 1, their miners build 2, their mediums build 5 instead of 3, and their majors build 8 instead of 5. Basically, we're just adding half and rounding up to the nearest number. All right, and that's it for that. So we'll see what happens. This oil war so far hasn't really added any complexity, but we haven't actually had any real wars here. So the last 2 turns, as I said, Japan's been moving in. There's 2 turns worth of attacks there, and this KMT is starting to build itself some anti-aircraft and artillery in the Burma Road there. It's too early for the Flying Tiger. The Flying Tiger Lend-Lease, that's got to wait another turn or 2 yet if Japan doesn't eliminate the Japanese or the Chinese first. So we'll see how that works out. So the commanders have made a difference over there, and we're figuring it out. And yeah, so far there's been no SS units being used from the Might of the Reich set there, the German SS set. So we'll see what happens there. I mean, it takes money, and Germany's it's got some units. It's got more units than everybody else, but it needs to build itself up, otherwise it's going to be screwed. So we'll see where we go next turn. Taking a break here. So next turn, July 1939. I got another 2 days to finish this game off, and tomorrow and tonight, hopefully I'm going to get 2 other players that are going to show up and either take over Russia or something else, because I'm running Australia, Britain FAC, China, France, the U.S., and then I gotta go way the heck on the other side here. And I'm not running Italy and Germany. But I'm also running Russia. And then, well, the CCP's dead, so that's kind of nice. It's out of the way. So we'll see. And yeah, medium factory stats if you're interested. +1 oil, or we're using black for oil. We're using these for country special, but we're also using them for 10 counters because I don't have enough reds. Once we started taking away my 10 counters and throwing them underneath the oil on top of what we normally do. All right, so I'll leave it there, and yeah, I'll see you later. Let's see what other dirty moves that these Axis are going to do. How much aggression are they going to show, or are they just going to build and build and build and creep out? The longer they build and creep out, the longer it takes for me to do anything. But this next turn, the US, Russia, France, Britain, all get to start rolling to increase their incomes. So it shouldn't be too long, otherwise the Axis are going to find themselves outnumbered in both land zones and income. All right, so there's a quick pan of the board there. You probably don't need all this, but there you go. And oh yeah, the ever important build chart. These 3 light carriers are just going to sit there until Japan declares war on the Americans. Japan's moved this up but hasn't placed it, so no income increase for the US. US have moved that up. Italians have moved that up, but otherwise all this stuff's just still sitting here. Oh no, the Germans moved their battleship up 1 as well, so we'll see what happens. It could get interesting. I have no idea what to do with defense until I find out what the heck they're attacking first. All right, leave it there. See you later. Bye. Okay, hello, it's Frank Carcass here. We're still playing the same game here. Myself there, Frank Carcass. General Hand Grenade, he is the, I probably should have said this a little more clearly, but he is the Axis power, so he's playing as Germany and Italy. And last turn he, well, 2 turns ago he got Turkey, so Turkey is controlled by Italy. Turkey's taken over Iraq there and stolen a bunch of forces. The oil wells and the oil's all theirs now, so the British lost access to that. But that's not a declaration of war on the British. Let's see what else is going on here. Well, the Italians have a little bit of a stack here. We got a bit of a navy. Not too much going on there. The Germans have not declared war on anybody yet, but I have a feeling that this next turn they will be. They've spent the last couple turns buying tanks and mechs here, so they're winning the arms race. Yeah, not much is going on with Russia or Spain. Let's go with Spain here. So Spain, I forgot to mention this, but last turn we had a big war here. The nationalists attacked the Republicans, and the Republicans attacked them back, and then the Germans just lend-leased another dude there because the Republicans were down to 2 planes, and the nationalists were down to 2 planes, and the Republicans have 3 men left and a fighter. So we'll see what happens there. It's pretty even, and it's all messed up. Russia had come in and taken Portugal via their transports last turn, and now they have moved into or moved back over to here, this giant sea zone in here, just over there to stay out of the way. I'm now, as Frank Carcass, I've now become the communists. It's a pity because I don't have the nationalist over there anymore, but I was trying to play everything. I was the Russians, the KMT, the CCP in China there. I was Australia, FEC, Britain, US, and that's about it. And now that my brother Moose here, the same guy who went to go play the Battle in the Bush with the General Hand Grenade at his place there in Prince George, now that I'm hosting in Edmonton, he's able to show up. Unfortunately, he works Monday to Friday, so He'll be here for the evening, and then he'll be again here tomorrow night and all day Saturday, hopefully. So he's going to take over the Allies along with another guy who hopefully will be able to show up here and join him on the Allies side here. Let's see what else is going on. Japan's been making more inroads into into China there, and using that commander to full effect. The +1 bonus to attack and defense is really a major factor in this battle here. So we'll see what happens when this commander meets that commander. Maybe there might be a little bit more of a thing going on there. Let's see what else is going on. Not much has really happened too much. Myself as Russia has signed the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact with the Germans there. So with the oil wars, there's a bit of a change to the standard Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact. So the pact still applies, right? I still get Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania. And once we start splitting up Poland, I'll get Lubesk and East Poland. And I did attack and take Papiri. Flukeline, I didn't actually take any hits. The 2 elite infantry and a fort managed to roll no hits on 3 7s. And the fort missed with 2 5s, so that's a bonus for me. And you might see that little in Leningrad there. There's a Katyushka. Yeah, I got those in plum, but yeah. So Russia's using its or buying its elite infantry, because this past turn here was the first turn we could use and have unlimited access to tech rolls. So I'm taking advantage of that, and so is everybody else. Let's see what else is going on here. The U.S. is still being the U.S. Or just, they don't make enough money to move out. They're only still at $9, so they can't even close the Panama Canal, I don't think. Maybe they can, but that's about all they can do. So we'll see what goes on there. Oh, look at that. I see the British FEC are building a medium factory from scratch. Yeah, not too much has changed here since the last video. There you got a little pan over of the standing. That's our we're doing these using these coasters as a marshalling card. So you have all the allies here together. The British Empire up top, the Americans, the Chinese, and the French. And that's where our current income sits. Everybody's this past turn been able to roll for income increases. So we'll see if Germany and Japan are willing to let us keep on rolling, and then possibly preemptively attack them, or if they're going to let us join the war in an aggressive manner on the defensive. We'll see what Germany and Italy and Turkey and the Japanese do. So far, the Dutch have not been affected. They're still a neutral country here. There's this task force marker here. That's actually this giant conglomerate of the Japanese Navy. And here's an example here. This is intended to be my future purchase for next turn. So 5 infantry, Katyushka, and a couple of tech rolls. So we'll see what happens there. And current income is, as you see here, Russia did a D12 roll, so it moved up to 15. And you'll see there's a second Russian thing over there. That's because Russia has taken Azerbaijan in Iran, and it's taken Portugal for an additional $2. The only reason for that is that way it doesn't accidentally get added into this total here, so that Russia doesn't reach its full wartime income early when it should really be rolling for 2 more. We don't want to make it. That's just to make sure that nobody makes a mistake and messes up. So Turkey is taking Iraq, so it's going up 2, so it's making 5. China, KMT is making 6. Italy and Australia are tied at 7. Let's see what we got there. France is at 10. FEC is at 11. Russia's at 15 plus 2, so it's making a total of 17. The U.S. is up at 17 now with their income rolls. The British have made a roll, and they went up from 14 to 20, and the Germans are maxed out at 24. They need to tax something pretty soon, or else their income's going to start dropping behind everybody else. And China with attacking the Chinese, or Japan with attacking the Japanese there, or Chinese, has increased its income to 27. All right, so now let's take a look at these techs here. Not too much has changed. There's been a little bit of forward movement in here, as you can see, but nobody's actually finished any new techs, so we're just, everybody's working away at some stuff. Since I have a free tech roll as Russia, I threw in 2 here. I threw in a free one, and then I paid for one, and I fluked out, and I got both of them. So let's see if Russia can get a good ground game going on with this. I mean, I got this naval thing, but I don't see myself using too much Navy for Russia. I mean, it's nice if I need one, but it's going to be expensive. And once Germany starts taking over Poland and all these gray dudes here in Bulgaria and Romania and Hungary, that's going to happen probably in the next turn or two when Germany attacks France. And once Paris falls, they'll be able to start aligning these 3 nations here. And since I've signed the pact, Russia does not get an increased role for this one. So we'll see what happens there. All right, and other than that, not too much is going on. So let's see what happens. I'm taking a break because I feel like barbecuing some steak. So see you later. Bye. Oh, there again, this is Rank Carcass. We just finished January 1940. That was a long turn. Especially when you're Russia and you're watching Germany and the Axis and the Allies all fighting each other. Nobody's fighting you. So, yeah, well, it was nice to get my brother Moose in to take over the Allies for me. So I'm not trying to be Axis or Allies and Russia. It's hard to be 2 different teams in a 3-team game. So that should work out pretty good. Hope is that another buddy from my play group's going to show up tomorrow and take over the Allies until I can get Moose back in here, and then those 2 will tag team the Allies. I'll be Russia, and General Hand Grenade is going to be very, very busy with his Axis. So as it sits now, just going to go over the highlights here. Let's start over here. So, Germany declared war on France, and as a result, Britain as well. So Germany got itself a new commander. The French got themselves a new commander. The British got themselves a new commander because they're all at war with a new major power, right? So that has been a definite game changer because with the commander there, you get a +1 to all your units, right? So on either the attack or defense. So it definitely has increased the hits on some of the dice rolls here. Like you've got a tactical roll, you got an 8 in attack, and then a fighter's rolling at a 7 on defense, and it adds up. You get a lot more hits. So it's kind of speeding up the game, but it's so simple. It's like it's such simple rules that you can't really mess them up. All right, so that's that. So yeah, Germany took over France, and it's with its double move there, going through Belgium and avoiding the Maginot Line. It also did its double move to hit around Warsaw and then penetrate into Warsaw. I'm not sure if I went over this, but last turn we agreed to do the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact between myself and General Hand Grenade as Germany. So yeah, that's adding a new dynamic because Russia is forced to sell 3 oil to Germany every turn for $3. So Germany, instead of making $5, they make $2 in 2 oil, or in 3 oil. Russia's making $6 a turn through the sale of the oil, and a free tech roll. However, Russia only is not at war yet, so when you have the oil consumption, Russia's only making 4 oil a turn. So Russia's only putting 1 oil in the bank if it doesn't move anything. So Russia's actually losing oil slowly, one turn at a time, while it's not at war, because its production is at 1, right? And so if it moves anything that's not an infantry or a cavalry, it's using oil. So it's using a lot of oil, and it's gonna have to start getting its shit together. So highlights here. I believe this was this past turn. Turkey came in and no, that was last turn. Turkey took Iraq. This turn, Russia took Tehran. I didn't have enough units that could get here, so I didn't take it. And as a result, Britain realized that it was losing 2 oil here and 2 oil here, so it threw in $10 and took southern Iran for itself. And now Britain's guaranteed itself 2 oil from there. So Britain's at war right now, so it's collecting 3, 4, and then from Sarawak 5 oil a turn. So that's enough to keep it going. There's that. The Japanese, the only thing that really happened this past turn is they've continued to motor through the Chinese. So the Chinese have a pretty hefty stack in here with a commander in Yunnan, and then they got this one Hunan, and they still have the island of Hainan. So you know, whenever Japan realizes that there's an undefended dollar here just sitting there, it's probably going to take that. But so far it's been a couple turns and it's been overlooked. But they've been so busy fighting and planning all their attacks and moving all their planes and which ones are on a transport, which ones are bombarding. And you know, these things happen. But yeah, the fleet card there, the Japanese still got quite a bit of a fleet there, so we'll see what happens. And then they got a little bit more fleet scattered around, even way down here on the convoy line. I don't know if they hit it last turn, but they're there. Italy hasn't really done much. They're still out of the war, so not much to talk about there, but they do control Turkey, so Turkey's controlled and not aligned yet, so it still has to use its own oil. So that's part of why Turkey took these 2 pieces here, or 2 derricks here, so that they could collect 1 oil a turn at half, right? Because they're not at war with a major power yet. Let's see what else is going on. Russia, not too much fancy. Russia took Vapiri. Russia's taken Estonia and Dubelski, and then I have moved the rest of the Russian Navy out from Leningrad. I didn't want to get them trapped up there, so I have a bit of a Russian Navy here and a bit of a Russian Navy here. I may just come in here at the Portugal's port here, which is now Russian, and deal with that. I should have done a roll for this ship, I think, but we'll have to do that next turn, or I'll fight it. Either way, we'll figure it out. Let's see what else is going on. Americans are still just building up a bit. Nothing insane here. With a few turns that they've been collecting this extra Lend-Lease oil from Japan, not collecting the oil per turn, it's stacking up quite well, and that's their supply to Lend-Lease to others, and they got so much there that it's going to be yeah, even if Britain had no oil wells, they could probably get pretty much supplied by the British. All right, tech tree. This thing is going insane today. All right, let's just start with Russia here. Russia has been working on advanced and heavy armor. Germany's been working on jets and advanced subs, and they also have heavy bombers and heavy armor. Russia also has advanced artillery and improved shipyards. The last couple turns, Russia's been building some Katyushkas. So we'll see if we can put those to use here. I got a couple of scalps kicking around here somewhere. Let's see if I can find one for you there. There's one there in Leningrad. And right there, a little, right by that plane with the yellow wingtips there. It's a little rocket truck there. Nice rocket artillery. A special artillery available only to Russia. Britain's been working on wartime economy and shipyards still. They also have advanced mechs, what do you see? U.S. is working on these three here that they're going to need for that victory condition, along with the strategic rockets. I don't know. I believe they rolled for that one, but they just can't seem to get it. They do have improved shipyard, so that could be handy. France, it's pretty much down to $5 a turn now, so I don't know if they're going to waste any money on wartime economy. And what else do we got here? Italy's almost got wartime economy, and they do have advanced mix. So there you go. So that's a recap of day one, pretty much, is everybody building stuff, working their way up. And the last turn here, Germany pulled the trigger and took over France, Poland, and so far the only ones at war with a major power are France, the British Empire, and Germany. Everybody else is out of it. The only pacts that have been signed, Molotov-Ribbentrop, and yeah, we'll see what happens. So Japan's still not at war with any majors, just China, but they're almost done. They're almost out of targets there, so we should change. And they're starting to notice. I'm starting to notice that Japan's oil keeps going down because they're using a plane, a ship, a capital ship, ground forces. That's 4 oil a turn, right? But they're only making one oil a turn here, so they're losing 3 oil a turn. So eventually they're going to have to start making it up. Like they can go for another, I'd say 5 turns or so before it's going to be an issue. Or sorry, 3, maybe 4 turns before that becomes an issue. But that may bring these places into play a little earlier, which may bring the U.S. into the war on a more early timeline. So there you go. Next turn is going to be July 1940, and I'll see you tomorrow with that. All right, have a good day. Hope you're enjoying the videos. I'll bring you another section. Bye.